So we're here with Phil Raby, who is a BEAC member. He teaches full-time at Durham College, located in Oshawa, Ontario. He teaches in the Broadcasting, Radio, and Contemporary Media program, and he's also the coordinator of the program. Thank you, Phil, for giving us your time to speak about your professional and as well educational journey after working full-time and teaching full-time.
You're welcome.
So my first question is maybe let us know a little bit about your background in media and then how you got to the point where you began to teach full-time.
Well, I'm a graduate of a 3-year community college program in Ontario. I took print journalism originally, but then when print started to get in trouble, I decided to switch, and I worked in television for a while at a CBC affiliate in the Durham region area of Ontario. And then from there, I went to City TV. Worked there for a while in various roles until becoming a producer of a few different shows. And then I left City TV to just sort of freelance for a while and started teaching about 8.5 years ago now at Durham College on a part-time basis.
And then I guess you became full-time. Did you start your bachelor's while you were still part-time, or was that when you were full-time?
It was when I was part-time. Originally, when I first started, you could become a full-time teacher without having a degree, but that changed while I was still part-time. So when I was teaching in journalism originally, but then when they decided to start up the broadcasting program, I knew that there'd be a full-time job created, but they changed the requirement then to requiring an undergraduate degree. So I started earnestly trying to earn an undergraduate degree before the program launched.
And so which degree did you decide to take? And if you can let us know if it was online or hybrid?
It was hybrid. It's through Brock University. It's a Bachelor of Education in Adult Education, and I chose that one because I thought it was one that was offered, and a lot of fellow professors had taken it, and it was both online and in class. So I took a combination of both. I took some online, and I took some of the core courses on campus at Durham College where I work. Because it was one of their satellite campuses, so you could go in on a Saturday for 6.5 hours and do your courses that way. So I think I did 3 or 4 like that.
And Brock University is located in St. Catharines, Ontario?
It is. Yeah.
And so what sort of courses did you take?
It was all adult education oriented, so it wasn't a lot of classical stuff about pedagogy. It's more about andragogy, so the foundations of adult education, and then you could get into curriculum development, and there was some courses that you could take in leadership or evaluation. I also took a course in women's issues as well as you could take pop culture. The only non-education course I took was a biology course, just because I was required to take that in order to complete the degree program, because I didn't really have that from my college diploma.
How did you feel about taking these courses, going back into school as an adult? What was that like?
It was a bit overwhelming. It'd been a quarter of a century really since I was last in school, so it was hard to get back into the swing of it. And having been a journalist and not done a lot of academic writing, suddenly having to write academic papers and learn APA style and formatting and all that stuff, it was a bit of an adjustment for sure, and a definitely different type of learning than what I was used to. Most of the Brock courses, the ones that aren't in class, are asynchronous, so you do them whenever you have time to pop on and join discussions and post work and create assignments and so on. And that was sort of in some ways it was good. In other ways it was very sort of disjointed. You didn't really get a sense of the classroom. So I found I did like the classroom versions that I took much better than the asynchronous ones, because there was an actual feel of community. You were there with other people from different backgrounds trying to get a bachelor's degree as well too. So that was a nice little small cohort that we had in the actual physical classrooms. The online stuff, it was a bit more scattered. You didn't really get to know people, and the learning was definitely different.
And so were you given some credits when you registered or applied for this particular bachelor's at Brock?
I was. So they do take into account, they don't take into account any previous work experience. So there's no prior learning really that they take in. But if you do have a college diploma or some other diploma or degree, they will take that into consideration. So I did get some credits for social studies and courses like that had been part of my journalism advanced diploma as well.
And so how long did it take you to complete the degree?
It took me about 2.5 years, I think, from start to finish. and that was at fairly. I was part time, but I was doing sometimes two or three a semester just to try and get it done in time to take advantage of the new program starting up and the full time position that I knew was coming. So it was a bit. Some of it was a bit rushed, uh, but yeah, that was yeah at least two per semester typically, and it took me about 2.5 years.
And so, how did it feel to finally have your degree?
Felt good. It was, I mean, strange because when I went to the convocation at Brock, it was the first time I'd ever actually stepped foot on campus because I was either online or at Durham College. So it was strange to go to this big, quite nice university and go in there and graduate and walk across the stage. Was a neat moment, but also strange because I never actually been part of the university culture there, like the other graduates who were from the other programs.
And so, did you stop there, or have you been doing other things in terms of education?
Well, I once I got full time, I did start a Master's of Education degree through the University of Ontario, which is adjoined to Durham College. So there was a bit of a break. I can't remember if it was 6 or 12 months, but I've started the Master's of Education in Digital Technology at the University of Ontario at the moment, and I'm nearing the completion of that at this point.
So, that wasn't a requirement at this point, now that you're full time. So, would you say it's something you've just decided to do for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it was as stressful as it was sometimes getting the undergraduate degree. It was an interesting sense of accomplishment, and I thought I wanted to do something further and do it for myself this time. So, I mean, I had the full-time job. This was just something I wanted to do at my own pace and not worry about rushing through it, and just sort of get the more experience out of that.
And I guess you're enjoying that process?
I am, yeah. It's been, I mean, there's less pressure. I'm just taking one course per semester. So there's the obviously the fall semester, the winter semester, and then there's a combined spring and summer semester where you can take one or two courses. So I've been just kind of pacing myself out, and at this point, I'm on my last physical course, and then I'm going to write my project or thesis paper, and then I'll be done. So, and that'll be again about 2.5, 3 years since I started to completion.
So, what sort of advice would you give a professor or an instructor who is teaching full time in broadcasting or in a media program? What sort of advice would you give to them if they are thinking about starting an undergraduate degree?
Definitely do your research. I mean, talk to your administrators and see what it is that they're looking for in a degree. If you're doing it like I was in order to get a full-time position, then definitely see what their preference is because those standards can change. Originally, I know some departments within our school actually require a master's. They all require an undergraduate degree. But now there's some talk within our school that they may prefer a degree that's in your profession versus an education degree. So that might make a difference whether you study education or you then go on to study journalism or communications or something else. So definitely find out what it is that they prefer. If it's something that you're doing as a condition of your employment or for your employment. If it's for yourself, just see what program sort of speaks to you and is going to be the easiest for you to do along with your teaching and your family life, and that you can work into it, and maybe it'll take into account some of your previous education, and so you don't have to duplicate some stuff that you already know.
Well, I don't know if you have anything else to add that might be helpful for somebody who is thinking about starting an undergraduate degree.
No, just it's never too late if you want to do it, and it's an interesting journey. And I think I find I kind of relate to the students better sometimes because I kind of appreciate what they're going through when they're stressed out with work and home life and homework and stuff like that. It does kind of put you back into that role that you're in when you're a student as a younger person. You kind of appreciate a little bit more sometimes what they might be going through as opposed to just expecting them to get it done and to meet all their deadlines as we had to do in the industry.
Well, we wish you all the best with your masters, and thank you on behalf of the BEAC board. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.